So speaking of wasted potential, let's talk about the second wasted potential, Neo Metal Sonic. It's awesome that they thought, well, let's bring back Metal Sonic and make him the main villain of a Sonic Adventure title. Very cool. We all loved that small little clip of him standing in the rain and thunder in the intro, right? But it was way too quick. We didn't have enough time to savor the coolness of that little scene. Why couldn't they have included that as a regular cutscene later on in the game? Like an extended version of that, and it could have been slower. Really cool dramatic music could have played, and then we could have gotten to see Metal Sonic's eyes glow for a longer period of time, and he walks around with his new cool big cape and everything. So Neo Metal Sonic he's really cool in the game, but he's just not in the game enough. He's like barely in it, in my opinion. So we only see him a tiny bit in the new intro. Then we see like one cutscene where he appears at the very, very end, where he says all something successfully copied, like the storyline. The plot where Eggman was the voice of the walkie-talkie and Metal Sonic trapped him in the door in that room, and Metal Sonic was cloning stuff. That was really good. That was the best part of Sonic Heroes, where it felt like, it's weird, this game feels like it's afraid to be complicated, like the storylines in SA 1 and 2. It feels like it's afraid to be, and then this is what they came up with. At least we can do one complicated storyline in this entire game, but why is it only one? And it just, I wanted to see more of Metal Sonic, because that final cutscene, all the characters finally realized that it was Metal Sonic all along, right? But we don't get to see Metal talk or walk around or have these cool monologues where there should have been all these cutscenes where he's like, they're coming to my final lair. They're arriving soon, but they will soon regret it. There was no cool dialogue like that. What was with, like, why were the cutscenes so short in this game? There was way more of them in Adventure 1 and 2, all the cutscenes. They were longer. They were so short in this. And I don't understand why. It's like they cheapened out on the story a little bit. They didn't give the game more of a story. Not that it needed it, but it just would have made it like 10 times better. So I say Neo is barely in the game because that last cutscene, then he transforms into the Mecha Neo Metal Sonic Dragon thing, which was like the essential version of, they're trying to mimic Adventure 1 and 2. At the end of Adventure 1, you fight the giant, dragon version of Perfect Chaos. And at the end of Adventure 2, you fight the giant Bio-Lizard, another giant, lizard. Then you have this giant dinosaur lizard monster of Neo Metal Sonic at the end of Adventure Sonic Heroes, which was like Adventure 3, at the time. So they were trying to have the same kind of big dragon boss at the end of each title.
You actually thought you could defeat me by transforming into a monster?
But why couldn't Metal have talked a little bit more before he transformed in the cutscene? And he could have walked around and pointed to Sonic and talked about how I'm here for my revenge, and none of that happened. None of that fucking shit happened. All that cool shit that should have been there, we all were robbed by it. Ridiculous. Once you get near the end, or I'd say at the middle of the game, you figure out that, Neo Metal Sonic is behind all this pretty much. For the most part, like in the middle and near the end, you already figured it out. So why couldn't we have seen more cutscenes of Neo Metal Sonic before the final cutscene when he transforms? Yes, the other characters don't realize it, but we do. Like, we're not stupid, It feels like this game is a little dumbed down. It feels like Adventure 1 and 2 were more complicated, and they appealed more to kids and teenagers and older teenagers. It had serious and complex storylines with Shadow and the military and the whole mythical backstory of Chaos and Adventure 1 and Knuckles' tribe and all that stuff. And in this, we just get, this kind of stuff, and it feels weird. It feels like this is when they started to change the tone of Sonic, and this is why I said Heroes feels like the beginning of the end. Like now it slowly started turning and becoming more kiddie-ish.
of bedtime, kiddies!
And Sonic was always kiddie-ish, you know. But why does it have to be this much kiddie-ish? Like, what's with the downgrade? I don't understand. The last fucking title, it was pretty serious. But now we're going way back in time. It's jarring. It was really odd at the time.
Okay then, let's get ready to do this. We'll show that creep the real superpower of teamwork!
So let's talk about each character and what I have a problem with each of them are. Well, let's talk about Tails. Good old buddy Tails. I love Tails, you know, but they screwed him over in Sonic Heroes, I think. He's so lame in Heroes. He regressed as a character. Tails' voice was really bad in Sonic Heroes, I thought. Nothing against the person doing the voice of Tails for Heroes, but he sounded lame. He had lame dialogue. He sounded wimpy. He sounded like a little girl in Heroes. So Tails always had like this youthful voice, right? He always had a good voice, Tails, because he's the youngest of all the animal characters, and in the 90s cartoons he had kind of the perfect voice you'd think Tails would have. Then in Adventure 1, his voice was a little annoying, but it still fit the character and it felt right. In Adventure 2, his voice sounded a little deeper, slightly. And he acted more adult in Sonic Adventure 2. It felt like an evolution of the character. It felt like a progression of the character in Adventure 2, where now he's slowly becoming a little more mature and he is able to cope with handling more adult, serious situations that happen as Adventure 2 raised the stakes. In Heroes, though, that's all washed away, and now we get the regression version of Tails. Everything they built the character up to be in Adventure 2, that's now flushed down the damn toilet. What the fuck is that all about? So, Adventure SA2 Battle was the best version of Tails. It was the coolest version. Everything about how he was in that game, it was awesome. But then in the next title, it was just... they didn't want to do anything else with Tails anymore, so that sucked. And Tails has annoying dialogue now in Heroes. He says annoying things, and he acts kind of more scared, like how he used to be, not how the character became.